All right, the U.S. southern border appears to be a mere figment of our imagination today, as Border Patrol sources are reporting that more than 83,000 illegal immigrants crossed the border this week alone. That's enough to fill a football stadium. Border cities in Texas today are declaring states of emergency due to the overwhelming numbers. Our border correspondent Jason Jones is live with us in Mission, Texas. Jason.
Tom, good morning. It's good to be with you. You know, we're embedded with Governor Abbott's Operation Lone Star and the men and women of the Texas Department of Public Safety's Elite Aircraft Division as they have surged with assets from across the state to the border, just like this heavy lift helicopter that you see here behind me. But yesterday, they gave us incredible access to Ground Zero in Brownsville with National Guard and folks who are truly on the line. And as you see these images I'm about to show you, I mean, I got to tell you, it's stunning. Imagine being these National Guardsmen as they've been holding the line. Take a listen to what Assistant Chief Stacey Holland had to say about what they're seeing down here. Chief, you're at Ground Zero right now for what has been occurring on the southwest border for probably the largest invasion in American history. Americans are watching you across the nation right now. What do you want them to know?
I mean, we're looking at about a $4 billion operation. You know, we shouldn't really have to be doing this, but as you can see with all of this, you know, helicopters and personnel and boats is what it takes to come in here and create a deterrent, right? So Texas is a prideful state. We've got prideful people, and we've got, you know, an inherent responsibility to protect our southern border, and we're not going to ask permission to do it.
Told me that you had him.
Tom, I got to tell you, you know, this is a pivotal moment in history. I truly mean that. You know, I was stationed in Brownsville, Texas during my career, and to see the way that city looked as a result of what's happening along the border is stunning. You know, the state of Texas has truly, for the first time, repelled an invasion. I mean, that has happened, and that's going to speak volumes in history as to a state going against a government and what they've been allowing. But I will tell you, they repelled that invasion, and they deterred these people to the ports of entry. And right now, I can tell you, Venezuelans, intelligence that we're hearing right now, they're moving to different areas, and these assets are going to be moving with it, and we're going to be embedded with them to show the American people what it really looks like on the ground. Back to you.
Jason, I got to ask, you know, Texas seems to, as you said, undertaken a historic effort to try to do something about this. What about Arizona? And you've been following this so closely. What about Arizona and other border states? Are we going to see that kind of intervention on the part of the state and local folks there?
No. No is the answer to that. And I can tell you that is the important thing here, that the Texas legislature and what they call the unified command of local, state, and federal law enforcement here in Texas, collaborating, sharing intelligence to work together down here, despite what is coming out of Washington. When you go to these other states, it's very clear. They do not have a unified command concept, that meaning basically that all of these agencies are collaborating, and they don't have the extra resources coming from the state legislatures to help secure their border. So Texas is really standing out here. And by the way, it has been, if you go back all the way to 2014. And that is the real problem. While Texas may be able to hold the line, make no doubt, these folks are going to be pushed by the smugglers, the cartels, and the Halcon network who operate along that border.
All right, Jason Jones, you have been covering this and providing the reality for people all across the country of what we're seeing. We're listening to what other networks are reporting, and they're saying, it's not so bad. But you've been giving us the pictures, and you've been talking to the people on the ground who are dealing with these folks. And we can't thank you enough for some fantastic reporting, and we know you're going to continue to follow it.
Thank you, Tom. It's good to be with you. Appreciate you.
As the southern border collapses, the crisis is coming to your backyard. New York City piloting a suburban resettlement program that could be a model for other sanctuary cities in states all across the country. The city caught this week distributing flyers boasting of 4 months of free housing, free laundry service, free meals, and for illegal immigrants, not within its own borders, but in suburban counties. The brochures read like a vacation brochure. Illegals will be provided with transportation and food and work permits for a time, after which they will presumably become the problem of local jurisdictions. Local leaders are speaking out and trying to stop it. And breaking this morning, apparently, homeless veterans are also being moved out of housing to make way for these illegals in some of these locales. We are joined by one of the county executives in the state of New York that anticipates being impacted by this. Actually, we have two: Steve Newhouse, who's the county executive of Orange County, New York, and Steve McLaughlin, the county executive of Rensselaer County. Mr. Newhouse and Mr. McLaughlin, thank you so much. Mr. Newhouse, this is the brochure. It reads like a Hudson Valley vacation. All sorts of free stuff. Now, your county, you captured the secret flights on television. So you've been dealing with the secret flights. Now you find out that you're a target of a resettlement, of an actual resettlement operation. How did you find out about these flyers and the effort?
Tom, it's a complete disaster here in the Hudson Valley. So we found out somebody from New York City leaked it to us. It was not given to us from New York City. Mayor Adams called on Friday of last week and said, hey, I'm thinking about sending 60 up to Orange County. We're at 82 right now, and we expect that to go into the hundreds if we do not get a judge to issue a temporary restraining order. We're awaiting a judge to make a decision on it. It's before one now, and it's going to be a couple days till they said that they would get to it.
Mr. McLaughlin, your county is not a target of Mr. Adams' resettlement program, but you, sharp-eyed, you noticed that the front cover of this is actually Troy, New York, which is in Rensselaer County. Are you concerned, and your other colleagues in upstate New York, are you concerned that this is going to expand into your area as well?
Yeah, thank you, Tom. It's great to be with you and Steve Newhouse. Steve actually sent me the flyer. He sent it to a couple of our county executives. We chat back and forth, and I looked at it. And first, I was looking at the words, and as you said, laundry service, room service, etc. And then I looked. I said, "Wait a minute, that's Troy. That's my county." So, but I think it's almost beside the point at this point. Troy's a beautiful skyline for sure, but even though we are not a target at this moment, every single county in the state of New York is in fact a target, because we were on a Zoom call with Mayor Adams, who is completely untruthful in what he's saying, and then Governor Hochul yesterday, and it's clear to me that they plan on spreading this chaos statewide. There's no county that's not going to be impacted by this.
Yeah, Mr. Newhouse, after the 4 months of all this free stuff is exhausted, presumably the city will walk away from them. Does your county, and the counties are the ones that actually provide for social services, does your county have the ability to provide welfare and social services for these folks? And again, you do anticipate that the numbers will be in the hundreds potentially.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom, again. And again, Steve McLaughlin and I and all the counties upstate are galvanized on this. So I told Mayor Adams, please don't send these folks here. My homeless shelter is already maxed out. We have emergency housing. It's already maxed out. So that is definitely a concern, Tom. And the sad thing is, you reported earlier, 20 veterans kicked out of their hotel rooms, Afghan, Iraq, and Vietnam veterans, as well as, you know how beautiful the Hudson Valley is, Tom, and for your listeners and viewers. Weddings were canceled. The West Point graduation, which is coming up, all that has been canceled by this hotel to accommodate the what New York City is sending us.
It's amazing. And of course, once Eric Adams and the city walks away from these folks, they become unfunded liability for your counties and social services. You both spoke with Mayor Adams about this program, and we're hearing from sources that he actually lied to you. He said that nobody is stepping up to help him yet. That's why he had to go to your counties. Yet we have heard that a Democrat county, Westchester County, offered, but it appears that the city chose more Republican counties or Republican-leaning counties to execute the beginnings of this program. Do you believe this has the markings of a political operation? Mr. Newhouse, I'll go to you first.
I absolutely do. And you know what? The president was here 2 days ago, 25 minutes from where my county is. I believe that they stopped the city buses from coming up here because they didn't want to have an international or a national incident, and waited till he left, and that's why they came the next day. But Rockland County and Orange were emphatic to tell the city, please don't do this. And it's very strange that you bypass Westchester, who said they have room, and bounce to the two Republican counties across the river.
Mr. McLaughlin, your reaction to that?
Hey, I mean, my friend Steve is absolutely correct. This is a political hit. They went to Steve Newhouse in Orange County, Ed Day in Rockland County, two GOP-led counties bypassing Westchester. We are not a sanctuary county. We don't have sanctuary cities, neither does Steve or Ed. This is a targeted hit. And this, I would say it's an invasion of this nation, clearly. Eric Adams, I would call on Eric Adams. Release that Zoom call, Eric. You videoed the whole thing. You recorded the whole thing. Release it to the people of New York and let them see there were multiple lies told during that conference call, and it shouldn't go unnoticed that the attack went on GOP counties first. And you don't kick us in the teeth and then say, oh, hey, guys, I need your help. That isn't how to work with us at all. And I don't know where Eric Adams thinks he has the jurisdiction over my county or Steve Newhouse's county or anybody else's county. And I can tell you that the plan is to simply spread this chaos statewide, and I would say nationwide, because this president is an epic failure in securing this border. That much is abundantly clear to everybody.
You know, I keep on reading this thing. These hotels, they're nicer than the one that I stayed in last night. You're getting, laundry service, and they actually will come and pick up your laundry and deliver it back to you, along with three meals a day. Mr. Newhouse, the first busloads, as you mentioned, of illegals arrived in the city of Newburgh on Thursday. How are you and your colleagues in local government going to stop this?
It's actually the town of Newburgh, and even the state police, who I think I have the most respect for. My sheriff's deputies and the town police had zero notice of this. We had protesters on both sides of this, Tom. It could have been very, very hairy. I think the mayor's trying to make a spectacle, which he is. He's getting the attention on this, but it's a self-induced disaster. My friend Steve McLaughlin refers to the conversation we had on the phone. We said, hey, dude, you're the one that declared a sanctuary city. And he goes, well, it wasn't really me. It was my predecessor. He's trying to back out of that. But what we're trying to deal with is trying to keep the peace here. It's number one, a public safety issue for me now, because in addition to all that stuff you're reading in the brochure, Tom, there is now a transportation route where they're being dropped off at all local stores and places like that. Do they have IDs? I don't know. Were they vetted? I don't know.
Yeah, do they have criminal records?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Zero. Yeah, exactly. Nothing.
Yeah. All right. Well, gentlemen, we appreciate you joining us and raising the alarm, because obviously this is a model that could be repeated in dozens and dozens of communities all across the country. And we're going to check back in with you as you make progress on this and as it develops. County Executive Steve McLaughlin and County Executive Steve Newhouse, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.